how to create buzz for your side hustle. Hey, it's Yolanda at DryerBuzz, and of course 27 answers. I'm about to get like Beyonce and just drop a song on you. Drop a podcast. But only because this is on my mind, because I'm out and about and I'm checking out my weekendpreneurs, the vendors, the exhibitors and so forth. And I always love to stop and, check out the branding and give some branding tips. That's what I do. And I love when there are amazing weekends and I see people and everything is coming together. And so I went, checked the inbox, checked the comments, put out a couple of questions that I want to answer when it comes to how to create buzz for your side hustle, okay? And let me just tell you, number one, when you have a side hustle, the number one thing that you have to communicate to people are your office hours. Because I have a number of friends that have weekend ventures, right? And they have their 9 to 5, they're what I call 80-20. They have their 80%, but they also have their 20% that a lot of us come to depend on because we love the products and the services they offer in that lane. But, it's not necessarily that they want to do that 100% of the time. Some 50% of the time. We all have these variants. It might just be a stream for them, right? But yet they love it. They do it. It's their passion. But I wish we could all make a really nice living from our passion. So, don't let the side hustle, the fact that it is a side hustle, don't let that fool you, because people have forever and a day always had something that they do on the side. But there's some questions that oftentimes come up with the branding. Like a lot of times people will say, well, I do this, but I don't really need it to interfere with my full-time job, or trying to have your side hustle and, keep your work folk from all up in it, keep people at your business, keep people from counting your money, counting your time, not having it influence, what's going on. You guys know I'm recording a little bit of activity in the background. I'll pull over in a minute and drop a podcast. So sorry about that. Just trying to get a little comfortable. It's my side thing. Podcasting is one of my side things. So definitely listen, understand that. But when I talk with my weekendpreneurs or my 80-20s or my side hustlers, they oftentimes some of them want to maintain some anonymity. Like, I was out last weekend at a vendor situation, and some of the vendors were excited to see me because, hey, here comes the buzz. She's live streaming. She's going to spread some buzz. And then I had a couple of those. Don't put me on camera. Just show the product, and it hurt. I feel a little bit of heartbreak when I hear that, because I hate when people can't ride their lane or can't truly enjoy what they do, and I just don't like people like that anyway, because that whole darkness thing, I can't stand for somebody to whisper to me. I don't like talking to people and your tone change. See how my tone changed right there? You're probably thinking like, what is that? I know, right? Because I'm usually loud. So it gives me pause. And so while I was working, creating buzz with two weekendpreneurs last weekend, one was all excited and the other was like, I understand what you're doing. I don't understand that. I don't. Okay, that's not my lane. But for those who want to create buzz for your side hustle, again, number one, almost halfway through this, you want to make sure that people understand your office hours when you do the thing that you do. When do you do it? So, because remember we did the podcast, we talked about customers will assume more than they ask. And so you need to make sure you have that in your messaging when you are available. If you are capitalizing off of social media, your Instagram, you post up when you're going to be somewhere, where you're going to be. In fact, I was just having breakfast and I saw one of my favorite vendors, and she said that she and her family members were taking the weekend off in between the hype season because it's somebody's birthdays. People wanted to have more access to you when you are available. And because a lot of times it could look like backlash, or not backlash, but it could look like you may be ignoring customers if they're trying to reach you in that time when you are not currently available. So be specific about when you do what you do, how you do it, your office hours. Not too many words. Be very specific about your office hours when you are in that lane so that people understand that. Be very specific about what your offering is. Be very specific about your price. Be very, very specific about what your product is. Be very specific about your locations. That's when you really have to use social media and really use your messaging. Also, go back and listen to the podcast. Not podcast, but I did a kind of a webinar situation, a live stream, where we talked about selling out before you get there, not waiting till you get there to make your first sale. That's really important. Capitalizing off of connecting, because even if it's your side hustle, you may be able to find some other time to denote to this, to make the time when you're full on in that lane, to organize it a little bit better. Organizing it is really important. How to create buzz. Listen. A lot of times, and this is really important, let's spend the last 2 minutes on this. For my side hustlers, a lot of times you guys don't realize how buzzworthy you are, and that there's a lot of opportunity for you. The same media, same interviews, television, magazines, being on the cover of some magazines, capitalizing off of media opportunities. A lot of my side hustlers, you guys don't take advantage of that enough, and maybe it's because you may be one of those people, you don't want to necessarily be the face of your product. And a lot of times I understand that's the case, but you don't have to be the face of the product. The product can stand for itself. If you got that photographer and you've got some really amazing shots of those products, because there are photo editors out there, there are producers out there that just need content. Think about content is so much in demand right now. And you don't have to be the voice of, you don't have to be the face of. And I think that's where this goes awry, because a lot of times you end up with FOMO, fear of missing out, because you're not 100%, because you're only 20% or 50%, and then you feel like, man, if I had more time. And then what happens is you start regretting where your time has to be dedicated to. You got to go to work. You got to go to work. Don't get mad. Don't feel like you're missing out on anything, because there's a way, and we can talk about this. If you really want to capitalize off of this, listen, hit me up, inbox me, because there's so much opportunity out there. And a lot of times, especially if you had to go back to work or you're having to do some other things, number one, realize everybody's in that place and in that space. If you're not going after the capitalists and the funding and or taking out the loans and all those kinds of things, then you're probably not going to be able to be 100%, and that's okay. But as far as media goes, capitalizing off of creating buzz, you can do that as well as anybody else. The playing field is level. It's even. You do it with a press release. You do it with creating your own video. Creating the video. Listen. Stop trying to get the news to do it. Create a video that the news can actually run. Create a video that a top influencer can actually share. Create a video or a photo layout. Create your own layout that they can just put in their magazine, right? You can get that done. Hell, you can go to any of these freelance sites and somebody will do it for you. Do it with a media kit. If you don't know what that is, ask somebody. Okay, inbox me, for a referral on somebody that can knock that out. Get a virtual assistant, because you got to spend a little bit of money to make money. And I'm sorry, our weekendpreneurs, you might be, if you want to really have fear of missing out, a little bit of FOMO, have a little bit of FOMO, because you just may not have the answers on how to create buzz with your side hustle. I just wanted to drop this for the weekend. We'll pick up on it next week in our series, because there's so many other opportunities out there that people are looking to create buzz with you. You can create buzz for your side hustle. All you got to do is keep following Yolanda at DryerBuzz and just filter that entire internet. Where you press play today, press play again tomorrow once you put in #27answers.